kitty kitty. Hi there, wig lover. This is Heather from HairKittyKitty and CysterWigs.com, and today I'm bringing you a showcase of our 30-inch long, non-heat friendly, premium synthetic medical prosthetic wig. That's a lot to say, isn't it? It's Trinity is what we call it. She's got a lace front and a monofilament side part, and she's 30 inches long. I made Trinity by Wigs Forever in direct response to the fact that so many wig brands that I was carrying over on CysterWigs kept talking about how long their wigs are, and their wigs were only like 20, 22 inches long, and I'm like, these are synthetics. Because you have to remember that it takes a long time and a lot of care for someone to grow their hair really, really long. And the hair itself has to be quite a bit longer than what you're actually seeing in the wig. So whenever you see somebody with like a natural human hair 30-inch weave, for example, that hair was probably closer to 40 to 50 inches in length because they have to have enough spare to knot it through and to then style it. So that's very rare. It's very rare that someone would have healthy enough hair that they're willing to grow for that long and that, you know, they're willing to sell it or donate it to make it into a wig. So that's a very limiting thing when it comes to how long a human hair wig can be. That limitation does not exist with synthetics. You can make a synthetic wig as long or as short as you want to. So it always struck me as odd that all of the medical prosthetic wigs that were being made seemed to top out at like 22, 24 inches. And I was like, well, we can absolutely do better than this. We should make, you know, at least one that's in a 30-inch length. Since, you know, there are quite a few songs out there about 30-inch hair, I was like, let's just do this. And that way we kind of bypass that whole, you know, scarcity issue. We can just have fun and have like long princess mermaid hair. That's Trinity. You know, she's got that really generous lace side part. She's also got a hand-tied lace front, and she's what I like to call a booty kisser, you know, because she does. She just kind of like, she goes beyond boob hugging and just kisses the top of the booty because it's such a long wig. So I keep saying that this is like a booty kisser, and on me you can tell that's definitely not really the case. I mean, not that I want you all to stare at my booty, but that's basically what we're dealing with here. I'm using myself as a prop. Self-objectification. Anyway, I'm 5'8", so this wig gives me about a hand's worth of clearance between the small of my back and the top of my booty. But statistically speaking, most of you watching this are going to be shorter than I am, and that means that this is going to look longer on you because it's going to come closer, if not actually touching your, you know, top part of your booty. So that's why I call it a booty kisser, or, you know, boob hugger, whichever makes you feel like laughing the most, I guess. But for me, like, this is a true boob hugger, and I know on a lot of you it will be a booty kisser too. It gives you tons to play with. If you were the kind of person that loved playing with your Barbie dolls and their hair in particular, this is one you should probably give a try because it gives you so much to play with. That's so much for braiding. I mean, and it's a full wig. It's not like a drag wig because drag wigs have like, you know, about 300 to 400% volume. They're very, very thick, dense wigs on purpose because they're for drag. They're supposed to be exaggerated. This is not that. This is just a full medical wig. So the hair density is going to be a little closer to 180 to 200%, and that gives you a lot of hair to play with. It's a little bit heavier, but it's also just really lush, delicious, deluxe princess mermaid hair. Trinity by Wigs Forever has a 100% hand-tied lace front and side part. She is an average sized wig technically, but I would say it's like on the larger side of average. So not quite as big as the machine-made wigs such as our Anya wig, which is another Wigs Forever wig. That one being machine-made, we are allowed to get away with making it a little bit more roomy. You really want anything with monofilament features or a lace front to fit right up against your head to give the best possible illusion of a natural natural hairline and hair regrowth. Trinity can accommodate petite average to average large when you adjust in the back. She has Velcro adjusters for this purpose. The fringe is not really a fringe, as you're probably already noticing. It's 18 inches. The sides are 22 to 28 inches, so she is layered at the bottom. The nape is 22, so you can imagine if the nape itself is 22 inches, that the overall length is going to be really long, and it is. The overall length of this hair is 30 inches, hence the name, and the weight is about 9 ounces, which is one of the heavier wigs we carry at HairKittyKitty.com, but it's because it's Princess Mermaid Showgirl hair. It's made to be a little bit luxe, and it's 30 inches long, so you're getting a lot of hair to play with. We frequently get asked, does wearing a wig damage your hair? And the answer is no. In fact, medical wigs in general are considered protective hairstyles because you do not have to dye or chemically treat your bio hair to make this look happen. That's particularly awesome with like the Lilac Honey R or the Illuminati R. Think about how much you would have to bleach your hair, unless you have naturally white hair. But if you had naturally white hair, it wouldn't be able to grow this long in most cases because white hair is very fragile for the most part. But like, just think if you wanted to get hair that's this icy platinum color, you would have to bleach it and bleach it and bleach it and bleach it and tone it and tone it and tone it and tone it and pretty much just keep toning it forever. You'd probably have to get protein filler to put in your conditioner or something to get some of that protein back into the hair, because after all that treatment, it can become very fried and brittle. And you know, this saves your hair. So that's just one example. I mean, another reason why it saves your hair is because things like extensions and toppers, particularly if they're not applied correctly, can pull your hair and cause something called traction alopecia, which is obviously going to make hair loss worse because it's got that evil A word in it, alopecia. We want to avoid adding alopecia varieties to your existing alopecia if you have it, and wearing a wig is one way to really protect your scalp. Trinity by Wigs Forever has premium silky texture synthetic fibers. This is not a heat-friendly wig. It is a premium Canacolon synthetic. It has small amounts of felt built into the cap at the perimeter for comfort. So the nape, the ear tabs, the front, the perimeter, and all of the seaming has protective felt to make it very comfortable. It's also nature's Velcro. If you've got a shaved head, it will keep the wig in place a little bit better. We consider Trinity to be great for all face shapes as long as you are interested in a wig of this length. It's uncommon to find a style that will really accommodate all face shapes, but because of the length of this style and the minimal curl, it really is quite flattering on just about everyone, as long as you're cool with the length. If you're uncomfortable in a wig of this length, even if it looks great on you, it's not the best choice. You want to strive for a balance of what you're comfortable with and what looks good, you know, but sometimes try to nudge yourself out of your comfort zone, just from me to you, because in doing so, you'll be able to expand your horizons and find new things that look good on you instead of just the tried and true all the time. I love the way Trinity in Mermaid Kisses R looks. This color is really cool, and it looks really, really, really cool here on Trinity because the length really showcases all of those contrasting pastel highlights. This is a rooted optical illusion pastel gray that doesn't have any gray actually in it. Instead, it is ash brown roots with a blend of ashy pastels that are blue, pink, and green, and subtle little pops of peachy yellow blonde, but it's very subtle, so it won't make the whole color look blonde or warm. And it also has a little bit of white blended into it. So the overall composition of this color is very cool, and it looks like a gray, particularly from far away. It looks stunning on Trinity, I think. I think it turned out so beautiful because I keep saying that this is like Princess Mermaid hair. This is about as Princess Mermaid-y as you could possibly get, these two in combination with each other. I absolutely love the way this turned out. But I'll leave that up to you. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section of this video which one of these colors is your favorite. As I'm going through them all, I would love to hear which one really catches your eye. But I know this is one that I really loved. Illuminati R is like something from a different world. A glamorous world where the hair is beautiful, icy platinum with a beautiful light ash brown root. This color is a bit of a chameleon because, you know, if you ever met somebody who has an eye color that changes depending on whatever their clothing looks like, Illuminati will do that a little bit. If you have a darker skin tone, it will look brighter than on somebody who has a really light skin tone. And it will actually look a little bit cooler and ashier on someone that's as pale as I am. But at any rate, it is a beautiful, nearly pure white hair color that has that beautiful ash brown root on top. Trinity in Harlow Blonde unrooted, so this is not the rooted version of this color, was one that I decided to make in an unrooted version of this color because it's something that I can get away with the monofilament wigs that I really would not be able to do with some of the machine-made styles, because the rooting, that darkened root area, really does help obscure some of the wefting, in particular on the top of open-capped wigs. For example, I mean, that's just one example of where that rooting comes in handy. But when it comes to these more premium products that have a lot of hand-tied elements, I can really showcase how beautiful some of the unrooted versions of these colors are. And this is definitely a great example of that. Harlow Blonde is beautiful on Trinity. It's just a gorgeous, creamy platinum blonde. It's not white, so it's not going to pull silver. It's not going to look like something that will instantly wash you out. If you want something that's got a lot more of like a white appearance, like a pure absolute platinum, check out the Illuminati R. There is a number 10 light ash brown root on that color, but it is definitely more of a white. This is definitely more of a blonde, so if you were wondering between the two which one might be a better fit for you, that's really the distinction. Harlow Blonde is a creamy light blonde mix. It's palest champagne blonde that's been blended evenly with an icy platinum blonde. This beautiful blonde is called Beach House Rooted, and you can tell that just like some of the other colors on Trinity, it looks different in a really, really long style than it does on a mid-length or even a really short style. And that's because you get a little bit more space between the rooting and when this really light tip color comes in. We make these colors based on ratios. You know, so it's like a third of the wig, roughly, is going to be this kind of creamy platinum color. Hold up. Insert record screeching noise here, but without really doing it because that's annoying. So pretend that that's in here and we're like, what? So you can see that there's a little bit of a difference between what you see on the left side of the screen and what you see going on the right. And that is because I used two different camera phones to show you that even in the exact same set, with the exact same lighting, that cameras in and of themselves can make a huge difference even when you're using the quote-unquote same settings on each. So this is the default settings for a Pixel 3a camera. It's a Google phone, it's a little bit older, and an iPhone Max Pro 11. Can you guess which one is which? Because I'll just tell you. The one on the right that's a little bit brighter and a little bit more saturated in the teal outfit, that is actually the iPhone. And the one that looks a little bit darker but has a little bit more depth and a little bit more contrast, that is actually the Pixel 3a. So you can tell that there's a huge difference here in the way that the hair color looks depending on the camera. So very important lesson. Hopefully I've done a good job of demonstrating that. Moving on. And a little bit close to half-ish is going to be that rose gold color, and then the root's just going to be about 1.5 inches-ish. So really, really, really pretty color. The rooting, by the way, is a medium brown. This is a beautiful rose gold blonde. It's not pink. It doesn't have a true gold undertone or an ash undertone. It's a neutral undertone that skews ever so slightly rosy.
you know, kind of like my skin tone, which is why I like this color. And then, I mean, it's hard to tell what my skin tone is, obviously, because I've got a ton of makeup on right now. But take my word for it, my skin tone's usually got a little bit of a rosy undertone. And this creamy, creamy blonde. It's beautiful on Trinity, this beach house. We wanted it to look like what would happen if your hair was just out at the beach for multiple years. You know, you spend all the day in the surf, in the sand, and the ends would get really, really, really light.
Aniston Foil is an incredibly easy color to wear. It is one of the easiest colors to wear in the whole store, and it's definitely one that would work well in an office environment. Aniston Foil R is a rooted, dynamic, highlighted blonde inspired by its namesake. It's a light natural golden brown, so a number 12 if you're familiar with synthetic color codes. And that is the base color and the root. So you're going to find that color predominantly at the nape as well as at the top. And it has two-tone highlights, so it's got two different colors on top. A warm honey blonde and a very ashy, pale, creamy champagne blonde. So it's got a little bit of warmth and a little bit of ash, and those two things combined work really beautifully to make this color very versatile for a lot of different skin tones. So if you love Trinity but you don't know what color to get and you're kind of scared, try this one. Aniston Foil R is really approachable and it looks great on just about everybody.
This is Trinity in the color Lilac Honey R. Lilac Honey R is beautiful and it looks really, really stunning here on Trinity. You can see that this color is deceptively tame, particularly from the back. Because when you look at this from the back, it just looks like a really beautiful kind of mellow light brown color. And then when you get towards the front hairline, you'll realize that there's a lot of purple, there's baby whisper pink in here, and it's a much more dynamic color than meets the eye. So it's not a two-tone color. It's actually got a whole bunch of colors in it, and the root is a really pretty medium brown. Just beautiful color all the way around.
Cocoa Swirl is a really popular color from our Wigs Forever line, but it looks really, really dramatic here on Trinity. So I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about it. Like with the Harlow Blonde, I decided to showcase some of these colors in unrooted versions for the monofilament styles because they're a little bit more of a deluxe product and they give me a little bit more wiggle room to showcase some of our colors in an unrooted way. Cocoa Swirl is an unrooted version of our fan favorite brunette. It's a medium golden brown base with medium golden blonde highlights on the top and side. So it's got very traditional highlight placement, which you can see very well here on Trinity. On some of the shorter wigs and on some of the styles where that rooting exists, the color is actually a little bit milder looking. There's not as much contrast between the base and the highlight. And that really becomes more dramatic on this long wig where it's a little bit straighter on top and curlier at the bottom. Trinity shows you how this color looks with both of those hair textures and how the texture itself can change the presentation of the color, which is pretty cool to get in one wig. And you can also see how in the case of Coco Swirl, the rooting actually makes the color look a little bit softer, a little bit more approachable. When you remove the rooting, the highlights look very dramatic. But one of the great things about that is it also looks like you literally just had them done, that you did not wait until they regrew in order to get them touched up. That this is fresh from the salon. You literally just got those highlights put in and it looks really, really cool. Snap is definitely one of our more natural looking color blends. It's a natural warm medium brown blend, so it has a base that is about 75% neutral medium brown, about number 6 if you're familiar with synthetic color codes, blended all over with 25% medium dark auburn brown. So it's kind of a 30-33 blend. Of course, that will mean absolutely nothing if you're not familiar with synthetic color codes, but I'd like to give them to you anyway, just in case it's helpful to understand where this brown shade fits in. It's definitely more brown than red, and it won't read red to most people. It will read a little bit like a warm chocolate brown. This is Trinity in the color Cheerwine Sangria, which you can probably tell while I'm wearing it, that it is a tipped color. It gets a little bit lighter and brighter the further down the hair shaft you get. And you'll probably notice that this transition is actually a lot more dramatic on shorter styles than longer ones, because it gets a little bit more time, you know, a little bit more space in between the top and the bottom of the hair, so that transition can mellow out a little bit as it goes down. And then of course, it's still really nice and bright at the tips. So this is a really beautiful, dynamic, dark red that has a little bit of brown in it, that also kind of melts down here into a very vibrant, kind of violety, ruby red color. It's really pretty. It's got a little bit of cherry. It's got a little bit of almost like a magenta in there. It's very subtle though. It's only a tiny, tiny bit of the color mix, but it is in there, particularly if you look at it really up close. Just a really beautiful, dramatic, tipped color. It is not a rooted shade. This color will look fantastic in braids, by the way, French braids, regular braids, because it will just look like it's melting into that beautiful red as you get down into the weave. I love recommending Ravens and Roses R to people who work in office environments but want bold colors and want to just like skirt that line between something that is office appropriate, but then once you get it in full sun, bright, natural daylight, boom, it pops, it comes to life, it looks really vibrant and beautiful. But no one's going to look at you in a wig in Ravens and Roses R and go, wow, that's a really crazy hair color. No, instead they're just gonna think, who's your stylist? Sign me up. I want my color to pop like that. How do I make that happen? And then you can just be like, go to HairKittyKitty. Heather made this. You know, because it won't fade. That's one of the great things about buying this in the form of a wig, because unlike human hair and unlike your bio hair, this red won't fade. As long as you take good care of your wig and you don't store it in direct sunlight and you don't use like really harsh caustic chemicals on it to clean it, which why would you do that? It would destroy it. But as long as you don't do those things, as long as you use proper care, maintenance, and storage, this red will never fade. It will always look just this beautiful and vibrant, and it will always be ready to just rock your coworker socks.
Hi, so this is the beautiful Trinity in Prismatic Ebony R, and this color is everything, as in it has like every neon color you could possibly think of somewhere in the shine line on the top. The root is a very pure black color, and the bottom is also black. Similar to a number 1 if you're familiar with synthetic wig colors. This color looks stunning in half up, half down hairstyles.
So that was our in-depth view of the Trinity wig by Wigs Forever, which is currently available in a lot of different colors, as you just saw, at HairKittyKitty.com. It's spelled just like it sounds. I'm Heather, and I am the founder and designer of the website and all these wigs, so if you liked any of this stuff, I would really appreciate it if you would check it out. Let me know what you think. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, you know, all the stuff people say at the end of YouTube videos. It is genuinely very helpful, and it's a way you can help me grow my company and what we're doing here with our own brand of wigs without spending a dime. So if you would like to be supportive, but you just don't have the budget to actually buy anything, that's a-okay. Those free things help a lot too, and they're greatly appreciated, so thank you. And before I go, I also want to say thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. I say our because my husband, Nigel, helps out a lot with that as well. We also host live streams every week at CysterWigs 2 or CysterWigs After Dark, whichever you'd like to call it. It's where we get a little loose and talk about these things before they're really ready for prime time. So I encourage you to check both those out, and I'll leave some information about that in the description. And until next time, thank you for watching. I hope that you will let me know what you think in the comments. I look forward to the discussion, and have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.